College Board just recently released 270 new questions. In this video, I'm solving the 7 hardest grammar and punctuation questions from that batch. First up, we've got this verb question, and more we're seeing verb questions that are clearly not going to work with the odd verb out trick. Watch my video on verbs if you don't know what that is. I've seen some students have issue with this one because they say Ude is a person, and we would want to say Ude has, right? Not Ude having, and obviously we need a verb. So they'll say, okay, Ude has, and then I obviously don't want this comma here. So choice B, which is wrong. Instead, with the harder verb-based questions, as soon as you know you're not dealing with your standard subject-verb agreement, you need to actually consider punctuation. Even though this is not categorized as a boundaries question, I want you to start thinking about punctuation for any hard verb question, because check this out. If we went with B, we have Ude has referred to Nollywood, ignore the non-essential information, as Africa's vivid mirror par excellence. That is wonderful. That's a full sentence, right? But then what happens? Honors its legacy with vivid classical portraits? That doesn't make any sense. Ude has referred to Nollywood as this thing, honors its legacy with da-da-da-da. We now have 2 main verbs, has, referred, and honors. We're not allowed to do that and separate those with commas, so there's an issue. For that reason, we actually end up with choice D as the correct answer, because this fixes that issue. Now we have a huge bit of non-essential information, starting with the word having. And by the way, ing verbs are super common ways of setting off non-essential information or even extra information at the end of a sentence. And we always want to have a comma before them. And then if it's in the middle of the sentence, we want to have a comma after, which would line up right here. So basically all of this stuff is now non-essential information. So we can read it like this. Ude honors its legacy with his vivid classical portraits of O'Malley and her peers. And that's it. And in case you haven't met, I'm Robert, founder of Penguin Test Prep. All of these YouTube videos are free, but if you're looking for additional support, go ahead and check out the links in the description. We offer everything from self-paced study to group courses to one-on-one private tutoring. And by the way, make sure to pause the video and try these on your own first if you're looking to get some extra practice. This next one is going to be a boundaries or punctuation question. And with these, you always want to go through a 3-step process. Step 1 is checking for full sentence options. And when I refer to full sentence options, I'm talking specifically about periods and semicolons because they are the 2 most common ways of separating full sentences. Here we have both in choice B and choice D. And normally what we would do is we would look at the left side and say, do we have a full sentence? Look at the right side, do we have a full sentence? And we could certainly do that here. Like we did with the last question, you want to ignore any sort of non-essential information. For this one, we've got an intro, so we could ignore the intro. And then we could simplify the second part. Many systems will naturally move from one thing to another, comma, a conceptual framework for pattern formation. Cool. So that's a full sentence on the left. And then on the right side, some biologists believe can be used to explain a range of organic phenomena. Some biologists believe what can be used to explain. So you can see that the right side is not going to be a full sentence. Now, I wanted to walk you through that, but in truth, if you see a period and a semicolon, and that's literally the only difference between your answer choices, you want to check real quick for a complex list. Basically, are there any semicolons in the passage separating items in a list? If the answer is no, then you can get rid of both because you can't have 2 correct answers, right? And then from here, the second thing that you usually want to check for are sandwiches. And when I talk about sandwiches, I'm talking about non-essential information that is sandwiched between 2 commas or 2 dashes or even a pair of parentheses. Here, there's a comma in choice A, but we would need to link it up with something, right? So we'd either need to link it up here, which we've already identified that that's not going to be the case because we said that we could have ended the sentence at formation. And this comma right here is kind of the same situation. We basically have non-essential information at the very end of the sentence, and that's why that comma exists. So this comma has no buddy to match up with, so I would not be able to test that for a sandwich. Instead, I would ask myself, does this comma do anything? And no, it doesn't do anything. So we don't want choice A. we do indeed want choice C because it is saying that this thing is a framework for pattern formation that some biologists believe can be used to explain this thing. So everything after that is giving us details about this formation. They belong together. We don't want any punctuation there. So our answer is going to be choice C. And if you got a little bit lost on that last question, I would definitely recommend that you take my grammar and punctuation course. It's included in Penguin Test Prep Academy. Check out the links below. All right, next up, we've got another punctuation question. So we're going to do the same thing where we look for full sentence options first. Looks like we've got a couple to test here. I'll just go down the line. So choice A, on the left side, we could get rid of this intro first, and we could just say that this person, Rita, won an Emmy, making her one of the rare talents to earn the highest honors in television, music, film, and stage entertainment, the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Awards, respectively. So the left side there works. By the way, respectively, in case you're not familiar, is just saying that all of these things were awards that were given for all of these things in the same order. So the Emmy was for the television, Grammy for the music, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so full sentence on the left side, answer is yes. On the right side, we have the achievement is known as winning the EGOT. That's also a full sentence. That means we have two full sentences, so our answer is A, and that's it. And one of the reasons I chose this is some of you guys think that dashes always have to be paired up. Probably because you've got a bunch of idiotic tutors on TikTok saying that this is the case, but this is not the case. And I've been teaching this in my grammar course for well over a year now. Dashes do not just pair up with other dashes. They can also set off non-essential information at the end of a sentence like we see here. And yes, I know this is technically not a sentence because it ends with a semicolon, but for all intents and purposes, we can think of this as a sentence. So that's what's going on here. That's why it's not going to be choice C in case you were wondering. All right, we've got another verb question where we can't use the odd verb out trick. So we're going to have to consider what else is going on. And as I already mentioned, a lot of the time it comes down to punctuation. So let's actually pretend like this is more of a punctuation question. And as usual, I want to try to eliminate any sort of non-essential information so that I don't have to think about it. And in case you're curious, when I take the actual SAT, I'm using the highlighter to sort of highlight what I don't want to read. You could just imagine it, or you could do that, which is what I like to do. But for you guys, I'll go ahead and just cross it out. So that's an intro, so we could ignore that. This is non-essential information following the intro, so we could ignore that. And that means that our sentence actually probably starts right about here. So let's also get rid of this non-essential information just to make things easy on ourselves. Try to figure out what's going on. So a unique tradition of embroidery, I'll just play with A for a second, dates back to over 2,000 years, remains popular with modern audiences. And then this is more non-essential information. There's that ing thing I was talking about earlier. That doesn't sound good because we would have main verb dates, main verb remains, right? B would have the same issue, plus a unique tradition is singular, so it'd have it even more of an issue. Choice D would have the same issue, so it's going to have to be choice C, because C is the only one that fixes this problem. We now have a unique tradition of embroidery dating back over 2,000 years remains popular with modern audiences. So our full subject is that tradition of embroidery dating back over 2,000 years. It's just a really long subject, but that is our subject. So yep, choice C there. All right, we've got more punctuation, so you know the drill. We're going to look at full sentence options first. We've got a semicolon, so let's check it. That the expansionist appetites of these powers had their sights set on his country was evident to Siam's king. Don't know how to say that word. We're just going to ignore that. But was evident to Siam's king. That, believe it or not, is a full sentence. And that's what makes this one so hard. If you start a sentence with that in this way, it's this weird thing that we do in English where we're allowed to replace the phrase, the fact that, with simply that. So if you read it as the fact that the expansionist appetites set sight on his country was evident to Siam's king. It's still a super, super long subject, but that fact is the subject. Our main verb is was, and then was evident to Siam's king. So on the left side, we do have a full sentence. On the right side, deterring those ambitions through diplomacy and reform was perhaps his foremost achievement. Another full sentence. That's right, folks. It is choice A. So just remember this. The SAT has thrown this trick in to, I think I've seen at least 3 questions. And the fact that it's on this new batch tells me they might be throwing it in there on the upcoming SAT. Number 6 here, I had to include one of these because you guys hate the word however. At least you hate it in punctuation questions. But I've got good news. We're just going to follow our system and we're going to get the right answer. Because here's the deal. Full sentence options, we've got 3 of them. So we're going to check those, all right? Now, we already discussed this. If we have a semicolon and a period and there's nothing else going on, we're going to check real quick. Is there a complex list? Is there another semicolon somewhere in the passage? I don't see any semicolon in the passage. That means A and C are automatically out. We just got rid of 2 answers. Amazing. Now I'm going to check my full sentence option for D. Lai and Munoz recognize the need for direct observation, however. That is a full sentence. Recommending evolving binary star systems as a promising avenue for future study. That is not a full sentence. Choice D is out. By process of elimination, it must be choice B. But in case you're curious, step 2 would have been to check sandwiches. Well, we have a sandwich of commas right here. Basically, if we remove however, we get Lai and Munoz recognize the need for direct observation, recommending evolving binary star systems, So it's going to be that, again, that ing, non-essential information at the end of a sentence. All right, last one here is again going to be a punctuation question. So we're going to check our full sentence options. Again, we have a semicolon and a period. So that means they're both eliminated, right? Wrong. Hopefully you've been paying attention. We need to check for a complex list. And this time, oh my goodness, what's this all about? Bum, bum, bum. We have a complex list. In fact, there's more than one of them. So it is absolutely a complex list. And before you get too excited, we don't want to automatically choose the semicolon. We just need to know that we're not automatically getting rid of stuff. So since we know that the semicolon option would potentially be in cahoots with this list, let's check choice B as the only legitimate full sentence option at this point. If we get rid of our non-essential info, we've got Alberto tracks the transitional dissemination of works by this author via the magazine Belgravia. That is a full sentence. On the right side, we have published from 1866 to 1899 and distributed throughout the Australian cities of this place, the continental cities of these, the cities of these, this magazine helped make Braddon's serialized novels globally available. That is also a full sentence. So choice B is going to be our answer. And again, if you're wondering why choice A doesn't work here, even though we would normally be able to use this to separate 2 full sentences, because we have a complex list, it sort of creates this messed up connection to the complex list that is not ideal. And that's the other reason that I wanted to save this one for last. I think this is the hardest new grammar question in the question bank because it's one of the rare questions that has something that could be correct punctuation-wise, but is only incorrect because it makes the sentence a bit ambiguous. The SAT rarely does this, but for this one, that's the case. So I would be seriously skeptical of any semicolon period answer choice combinations like this on the next SAT. Now, according to me, those were the 7 hardest grammar and punctuation questions. But if you disagree, go down to the comments and yell at me. I know everyone in the math video was having a great time doing that. And I'd love for you to do that in this video as well. And make sure to check out this video right here for the hacks that are going to help you with these types of questions.